Hello guys, welcome back to the Eat Like Ruby podcast. I am back today with a solo episode. Last week we had the episode with Aiden from Ideal Nutrition, which I think was awesome. He had so much knowledge, so much wisdom. He was dropping so many knowledge bombs. And I think, like I said in that episode, he is really great at giving us all the facts and the stats, but then also talking about what that means for everyday people with their nutrition. So if you haven't listened to that episode, I would definitely put that on your to listen list. But like I said, today I'm going to fly solo. Today I'm going to talk about a little bit of mindset stuff with nutrition and training, a little bit of goal setting, goal checking. I feel like given that it's the middle of the year, like we're coming up middle of the year, 6 months down, 6 months to go, I think it's just a cool time to check in with where you're at and where you want to go. Obviously, with nutrition and training, so many people set big goals at the start of the year. And I feel like we almost have peaks and troughs with that. Like we have that New Year's hype and motivation. Sometimes it dips a little bit after New Year's. Sometimes it spikes up again around Easter, maybe after Easter. It can dip again as we get a bit colder. It can spike again as we come into summer. So I think it's just a good time to assess, see where you're at. And like I said, think about what those goals were at the start of the year, how they're going, where they're at, and then where you want to go. I think I'll probably talk about this a little bit more today, but I think too many people leave this too late. And that's where we see a lot of maybe around October or November, people doing shitty, drastic, unnecessary things to, like, air quote, get ready for summer. I think no one should be doing that. You know, I've spoken about that so many times where we want to see our nutrition and training as more of a long-term thing, get the education, get the understanding, rather than just the dramatic quick fixes. But I think really becoming aware of that and tapping in and being like, well, am I a person that does leave this really late and then is sort of frantically looking for something later in the year? Fuck that. Let's look now. Let's look where you're at now. Let's look where we want to go. The first thing to look at here is just what were the goals you had for the new year? What did you set? What did you want to get out of this year? And really just being honest with yourself and tuning in and assessing where they're at. There could be things that you've killed it with. You could have killed it with everything. You could have completely fallen off and not achieved any of those. And I think it's so important to get aware of this and pick up on the habit of, like, are you setting the same fucking goals every few months and every year? It's always about getting to that certain weight, or like, I'm going to start gym this year, or whatever it is. Everyone's going to be so different. But if you look at every New Year's resolution or every coming into summer plan, is it actually the same fucking thing every time? And you really want to become aware of that and pick up on that habit and on that mindset, because we want to be transcending, like obviously achieving and then transcending that goal and getting on to the new one. So it's super important to be like, shit, have I actually just been, like, air quotes, trying to achieve the same thing for a long time? If you have, and you obviously therefore haven't achieved it, you need to look at why. Are you leaving it too late? Are you doing dramatic things? Are you doing drastic things? Are you not learning or gaining the education, investing, whatever it is, into truly achieving this goal? And we've spoken about that a little bit in recent episodes. We did the two, Nutrition for Beginner and Nutrition for Advanced. If you haven't listened to those, I highly recommend listening to both of those. They're not too exclusive to beginners or advanced, so definitely don't let that put you off. And they're probably the two episodes of all the podcasts that have got the most feedback. Like, people loved those episodes. So in those episodes, we spoke about actually needing to get an education, make a commitment, invest in a program, join a program, get a coach, whatever it is, instead of just either, you know, fucking prowling the internet for free shit, or air quotes, like hoping something works out. Really peel it back, take a look and think, like, have I been trying to achieve the same shit? Am I not actually achieving these things? What do I need to do? How do I need to step up my process? If we want to step up the outcome and the result, we need to step up the process. So the biggest thing here is making sure you're not getting after the same goal with the same approach you've kept trying to get after that goal with. So that's my number one piece of advice, or my first piece of advice. Really have a look at those things and think, am I going to spend the back half of this year doing the same shit and hoping to get a different outcome? Another little thing to look at here when we're setting goals, and I actually did a post about this last week. I've spoken to some girls in Eat Like Ruby about this recently. So if you're in Eat Like Ruby, you may have heard this. But I think it's such a common thing in nutrition and training to set goals that you actually could just very easily achieve, and then make a big event and make a big grand plan and pat yourself on the back if you do it, or make another big grand plan if you don't do it, and spend a lot of time dabbling in such a low energy and low frequency of like, oh, this week I'm going to drink more water. If we think about this, and this is what I posted on Instagram, if you have a goal to drink more water, just drink more water. People spend so much time and energy into that grand plan, like I said, of, oh, my goal this week is to drink more water. How am I going to do it? I need a new drink bottle. I need reminders on my phone. I need all these things. How much time and energy are you putting into this plan? Go to the fucking tap, pour a glass of water, drink it, set a better goal, is my opinion. We see this all the time with, my goal is to drink more water or eat more vegetables. How am I going to do that? Drink more water and eat more vegetables. The end. People spend so much time, like I said, setting themselves up for those goals and thinking about it, planning for it. And then, like I said, they pat themselves on the back or they set a new plan if it didn't work. And when we look back, yes, those things are great to achieve. Like, I'm not saying don't drink more water or eat more vegetables. What I'm saying is I truly believe people need to hold themselves to a higher standard of making them their goals for the week. Those should be habits, non-negotiable, just standards. I'm actually a human being that prioritizes myself and my health enough. I'm just going to drink enough water and eat enough vegetables. That's not a goal. That's not a massive achievement. If we really think about it, that should actually just be something that you do for yourself and your health and your body. Water is essential. We need to drink that every day. It's not this big grand thing that's like, oh my God, go me, I drink enough water. It's like, you're a grown-ass human being. You should be fucking drinking enough water. And really, like, you might think, oh shit, here she goes, or she's being funny or whatever, but I'm truly not. When we think about these things, we act like we're doing something amazing and we're doing something so awesome for our body. Like, oh my God, I gave my body enough water. So you fucking should. So you actually should. And we see this all the time where people are just like, oh, it's a bit cold, so I didn't feel like drinking water. That's actually just not good enough, in my opinion. People then are like, do you have any tips, or what should I do? You should actually just suck it up and say, hey, my body that literally does shit for me all day, every day for 90 years. Yeah, I'm actually just going to make sure it's hydrated enough to do those things. The end. You don't need tips. You don't need a plan. You don't need a fucking medal if you've drunk enough water. And it's such a similar thing with things like, I said before, I'm going to eat enough vegetables, or I'm going to get my steps today. Your body needs activity. Your body needs nutrients. Your body needs hydration. So like I said, this isn't a massive achievement. This is not something we're handing out medals for. It should just be part of your day and part of the way you look after yourself as an adult, as a human being, as a person that wants to live a long, healthy life. This should just be the standard, and this is the standard that's needed. These are the things that are needed to do that. So we act like we're such a hero for doing these things when really we should just be doing them. And I feel like I've gone a bit off topic from the goals, but if we're setting those things as our goals, like I said, it's awesome to put that on your to-do list or put that on your agenda or whatever, but don't stop there. Don't be like, my big grand goal for the week is to eat some more carrots and drink a glass of water. Hold yourself to a higher standard. The thing I see here, and this is probably getting a bit off topic from nutrition and training, but she always does it and we love it. I think people don't give themselves enough credit for what they can truly achieve. When we think about people setting little goals like this, there's some underlying thing there where you feel like you're capped, and that is actually, as good as you could do for the week. And I actually just call bullshit on that. I think that's bullshit. And the other thing I want to talk about here, guys, a little bit off topic from nutrition and training, but so worth really thinking about and really tapping into, is when we think about truly successful people, whether it's inventors, investors, business owners, creatives, entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, there's so many successful people in the world. I think it's a really common habit for someone that would consider themselves to be an everyday person to actually just be like, oh, well, I can't do that because I'm an everyday person. But what we really want to look at is all of those things I just rattled off, they're everyday people as well. So we look at all these celebrities or famous people, whatever they are, like whatever they've done, and think that they're in this other realm or they're on this pedestal and they can do all these crazy things, but here I am over here, like all I can do this week is drink enough water. And that's what we really want to become aware of, is like literally your possibilities are endless. You can actually work towards and achieve anything. Like I said before, we don't want to not achieve those things and not tick those things off, but we don't want to stop there. We don't want to just say, my goal this week is just drink enough water, that end. If we think about all of those people I just mentioned and all the crazy things that they're doing, think about Elon Musk. Imagine if he was just like, my goal this week is to eat more vegetables. He's like, no, I'm going to fucking invent an electric car. It's like next level. It's so crazy. And this is what we really want to think about. I'm not saying we all need to go out and invent electric cars, but we want to break down this belief of, people all over the world can do big, crazy things. But for me, like all I can do is get a few more steps and drink some water. Yes, you can do those things, but you can also do a million other things as well. And I think it's just really important to become more aware of that. The real thing to think about there is, are your goals actually very achievable and very comfortable? And a really common thing I see here, and this will probably take us into some other stuff I wanted to talk about today. So often when we're into nutrition and training, we start to develop this identity or this concept of self or this image of like, I'm a hustler, I'm a hard worker, I'm out here grinding. So like, how often do we see that with nutrition and training? Like hashtag hard work, hashtag hustling. Ask yourself, is it actually hard work? The shit that you're doing in the week, is it actually hard work? Because it's so common, like I said before, we're almost patting ourselves on the back for these things, but it's like, it's actually pretty easy. It's actually pretty easy to just eat some veggies, drink some water, get a few more steps. And again, I'll say it a million times, I don't want to discredit those things, but think about everything you've done in your life and all the things people do in the world. Is it actually hard work? Would you really say, yeah, I'm such a hard worker, like I fucking ate some broccoli today, I'm such a hard worker? Probably not. And that really does tie in with something else I wanted to say. So often if we're not doing those things, like if we're setting goals and we're not achieving them or we're not even setting them in the first place, we can get into that mentality of like, oh, it's so hard. Like it's so hard to eat well, so hard to get up and go to the gym. I would actually call bullshit on that and challenge you to think about everything you've been through in your life. Is getting up and going to the gym actually hard? If you think about hard things that you've done in your life, are you really going to slap the word hard on getting up tomorrow morning and going to the gym? So often we run these stories of like, this is so hard and it's out of my comfort zone. And like I said before, some people are then doing those things and being like, go me, I'm such a grinder. Or some people are not doing them because they're air quotes so hard. And I think it's actually really important to bring that back and be like, is it really? Like, is it really? Or should it actually just be a standard that I hold myself to? Yes, I get up, I exercise, I eat well, I look after my body. Now let's actually look at doing something fucking hard to take it to the next level. And obviously I've come out today guns blazing and you're all probably like, I hate Eat Like Ruby now. But the reason I'm saying this, guys, is because I hate seeing people capping themselves or limiting themselves or not reaching their potential because we spend, sometimes it's weeks after week, but for a lot of people, this is years. For years, how long have you been saying, I'm going to start going to gym, I'm going to start eating better? These are things, like I'm saying, that should just be a standard. And then we're like, okay, cool. What do I actually really want to do? Where do I really want to go? Am I building the next electric car? Like, let's fucking go. Or what else is it that you want to do? So I say all these things to really get you to dig a little deeper on like, what are the habits that you've got? What are the stories that you're running? What are the things you're telling yourself? Are you repeating these things week after week, months, years, whatever? And is it just time to bring more awareness to them? Be like, yeah, okay, cool. I am actually dabbling in this same shit. And I don't want to be. I actually do want to take it further. I do want to go to a new level. And a cool thing to think about here, guys, is where can you just start? It doesn't have to be overhauling your whole life, changing all of your routines. It absolutely can be if you want to. Some people respond well to that. Some people respond well to a big drastic change. Like, I train at night. I'm now going to start training at 5 a.m. I'm completely changing my diet. I'm completely changing my activity levels. Like, some people actually respond really well to big change. Some people respond better to small change. And if that's you, it can literally just be like, where can I get an extra 10 minutes of steps? Where can I include one more serve of vegetables in my day? Any little thing, where can I include that extra glass of water? Every time someone drinks that, they're going to think of me. But if you know that that's how you respond, or if everything I've said today has been overwhelming for you and you are a person that gets overwhelmed and is like, shit, fuck, where do I start? Literally just start. Look at your week and say, where can I get in 3 extra 10-minute walks? And every single morning, the first thing I'm going to do is walk to my kitchen, have an extra glass of water. If you think about that, the snowball effect, if you did that every single morning, you're probably going to add an extra 2 liters of water to your week and an extra 30 minutes of steps. Like, that's incredible. So that's just another thing to be aware of. Which one is you? Are you like balls to the wall person? You're going to respond way better if you really overhaul your habits, or do you just need to make a few little tweaks? And you could also be in a position where you don't need to overhaul all your habits. For the most part, things are good, things are looking good, but where can you just assess and be like, oh yeah, things are good, I want them to be great. Where can I just ramp things up a little bit more? And I think that almost ties in with what we said at the very start, where if we don't start thinking about these things now, most people do leave it until like October, coming into summer, whatever it is, something sort of motivates them. And then they start thinking like, fuck, I have to overhaul my whole life. I need to change everything. I need to sign up to this shitty gym challenge. I need to do so many unrealistic things that, you know, it's either not going to work or you are going to do it for the 6 weeks, but then it's not going to last. Like, there's so many issues there. We've spoken about that so many times. So that's why I wanted to have this convo now instead of in September, and really check in with where you're at for 2023 and how you want to pivot, or even doesn't even have to be a whole pivot, but just little changes for that back half of the year. And guys, obviously, if you're in the Eat Like Ruby world, if you follow on Insta, if you don't, eat_like_Ruby, if you've listened to podcasts recently, you'll know that I brought out my ebook just a few weeks ago. It is called Simple Meals. So obviously, if you are a person who gets overwhelmed, Simple Meals is literally perfect for you. It's literally perfect for everybody. Go back and listen to the whole podcast about it. But it is a great place to start, or to start changing habits, start mixing things up. If you want to have literally a resource with over 200 simple meal ideas in it, you can get it in the show notes. But this episode is not about my book. You should all already have it. I just really want people to become aware of where they're at, become aware of where they're going. Do they need to change anything? Do they need to change their mentality? And also, like I said before, give yourself more credit. Really think like, am I actually capping myself at small goals when I'm a big bad bitch that could achieve big bad goals? So over the coming weeks, obviously this is something I'll talk about more, like as we come into summer and all these things. Like, every week we talk about different aspects of nutrition and training, but I think it's a really cool time to start thinking about yourself and your plans. Like I said in other episodes, like I said here, if you are someone that doesn't have the education, doesn't have the understanding or whatever, really have a think. Is it time to get in something? There's a saying I've seen, and it's like, imagine yourself in 6 months if you tick all the boxes. Now imagine yourself if you don't. And I love that, because I think we're sitting at that halfway point of the year. Imagine if you use that back half of the year, if you just make that commitment and you're like, I'm going to learn, I'm going to step up, I'm going to elevate things, I'm going to invest, I'm going to join things, whatever it is that you need to do to truly learn and get yourself in a wicked position with your nutrition and training. Imagine going into 2024 feeling like that. Like, I know what I'm doing. I've got answers. I've got results. I know how to manage these things. I've said it before and I'll say it again. That shit is life-changing. Feeling like you truly know how to manage your nutrition, your training, your health, your body comp, all of those things is literally life-changing. Like I've always said, we are going to be eating for the rest of our lives. And so many people wait and think, oh, do something dramatic in October just to look good for summer. You don't need to do something in October just to look good for summer. You need to manage your nutrition until the day you die. So when we think about that, it should be a no-brainer if you're not feeling in control of those things. Just change that in the back half of this year. Really think to yourself, if that's me, do I want to go into 2024 feeling frantic again, setting the same goals, trying the same shit, or am I ready to just step up and make the most of these next 6 months? So I hope this was motivating and inspiring. Like always, let me know your feedback. I love getting the DMs on Insta about the podcast. Obviously, guys, if you like the podcast as well, please give it a rating. It does help so much. And it's just so good to know that things are landing. So I hope this episode, like I said, was positive and motivating and inspiring. It's just really cool things to start thinking about. And like I said, over the coming weeks, we will be talking way more, obviously, about nutrition and training as we head into the back half of the year. Thanks, guys.